If you're a part of any fandom, you've probably heard this argument before, and you probably even made it yourself at some point, that nothing will ever be as good as the original. Whether it be TV, games, film, music, books, any kind of fandom, being a fan of something is a little bit of a double-edged sword. You want more, but you don't want it to change, because how can it get any better if it's already perfect? The fan's dilemma. This is often especially true when you're emotionally attached to the series, like when it was a part of your childhood. It's normal to think this way sometimes, but if you can't even accept a newer version of something existing, or you can't even give it a chance, it might be time to take off what people call the nostalgia goggles. If it seems like I'm speaking from the point of view of someone who wears nostalgia goggles all the time and is totally guilty of it, yes, I am. I've been called out on the internet and in person on multiple occasions for wearing the nostalgia goggles. What I've realized is that it's okay to like the original version of something best, which I often do when I have an attachment to it, but you just can't try to force that opinion on other people, especially when they don't have the same attachment that you do. And to be honest, it really is more enjoyable to give newer versions of something a chance rather than just stubbornly refuse them for nostalgia's sake. For example, in high school, I was one of those people who thought the original generation of Pokemon was the only good one. If you're a Pokemon fan, you know the kind of person I'm talking about. There's only 151 Pokemon. There's only 3 evolutions. Ice Cream, Keys? They're really running out of ideas. Bring back Ball and other Ball. I had only played Pokemon Red and seen the first season of the anime and just decided that I had no interest in any of the other games. My friends would show me their new Pokemon, like, but look at how much better the graphics are, and look at how cool these new Pokemon are that I have. I just wasn't hearing any of it. I was really attached to the TV show as a child, and when Misty left, I was just like, I'm done. No need to watch anymore or play anymore or even let other people enjoy it. Funny thing is, I've never even finished Pokemon Red because, like, that isn't even my generation. That game's old and frustrating. Anyway, just a couple days ago, I finished Pokemon Y for the first time, and it was awesome. I loved it. Not having played any of the other games, I was just astounded at how awesome the battle animations were and the new areas and everything. And you even get to, like, play with the Pokemon and dress up your little character, and it's like, I love that stuff. Why wasn't I... And yeah, the majority of my main party was still Gen 1 Pokemon, because they're my favorite. I mean, that's never going to change, but playing Pokemon Y was way more fun than pretending to play Red ever was. So nostalgia is okay. It's fine to like the original more than something else, even just because it's the original. You don't need a good reason. But don't let that stop you from enjoying something new. I mean, you might as well try it. Here's another example. My favorite anime is Sailor Moon, and that's never going to change. I love Sailor Moon. I grew up with it. And no matter how much you argue that another anime is objectively better, I'm still gonna like Sailor Moon more. So yes, it's nostalgia-driven. However, I used to just reject the entire Mahou Shoujo anime genre just because, well, I assumed that it's pretending to be Sailor Moon, and it's not Sailor Moon, so I'm not gonna like it as much. The day I stopped thinking that and started watching Madoka Magica was a beautiful day indeed. It's important to be aware of your nostalgia goggles because they really just set you up to dislike everything. You're kind of already biased against anything new just because you love the original so much, or at least that's how it is with me sometimes. When the Sailor Moon reboot came out, I hated it, and I would just, like, watch every episode and post all over Tumblr about every little nitpicky thing that I didn't like about it, and just, my main argument was just, well, the 90s anime is better, so why would you even watch this new one? Eventually I realized I wasn't gaining anything from this. I was just ruining other people's enjoyment and making them mad. So why would I do that? I can't say that I like Sailor Moon Crystal now, but I'm not going to bother the people who do. I feel like it shouldn't be that hard to just not be a jerk and respect people, let them enjoy what they want to enjoy, but I feel like a lot of people don't realize that they're being a jerk, you know? I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but you certainly should try to be more cautious about what other people's opinions happen to be and, you know, just be nice. I'm embarrassed at how long it took me to learn how to be nice. One fandom where the rudeness always seems to come out is Star Wars. In this example, I didn't grow up with the originals, I grew up with the prequel trilogy. My mother has written evidence that my favorite Star Wars characters used to be Mace Windu and Jar Jar Binks. Anyway, my favorite Star Wars film is Episode 3, even though I know that the original trilogy is better than the prequel trilogy. Now, of course, in the case of Star Wars, the reason people hate the prequel trilogy isn't really nostalgia. Yeah, exactly. It's more that they just aren't very good. But that doesn't mean that the idea of respecting people for their opinions doesn't apply here. You may not relate to how I felt as a child seeing Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader, but I thought that was really exciting. And you have to respect that people of different ages have different personal connections to things. And in a way, the original trilogy fans do have a bit of a nostalgia bias. For example, I don't really mind the idea of midi-chlorians as much as other Star Wars fans. I watched all the movies at the same time. I didn't develop my own idea of what the Force is. So, you know, I just took it for what it is. Anyway, you don't need to like the prequels, but you do have to accept that they exist as part of the canon Star Wars universe, and that some people like them. Don't hate on something if you haven't even given it a chance. But don't hate on people for liking something because they have a personal connection to it either. Nostalgia goggles are okay. Just know they're there and know when to take them off. And most of all, just be respectful of other people's opinions.